You would not believe the lengths this game is going to prevent the completion of it. So this will probably just have to live as probably just a separate video. So, funny enough, 3-part finale to this whole game and series. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what is salvageable as far as like my audio and stuff there from the just several minutes ago. Where the game, as I was trying to load back into it, as you saw, I assume you probably saw, again, we'll see what video is recoverable, the game just crashed itself, and crashed so bad on the system that I had to reboot a couple times here. But I think we're okay now. I tested some things out. I think we should be okay. So, there was the end of the Kanan scenario. We've done the Suzune scenario. We've got the ending, true ending. Before we do what's called the mean clean, or clean mean, I don't know, scenario or ending or something, we should probably finish out the epilogue again, because we did the jumps. This might need to be done again, so we'll get to see the true ending again, which is interesting because it's the ending to basically the Kanan scenario that we just witnessed. Again, we'll get to see it again. It's all acted in video and everything, and I think it's pretty dope. But Maria couldn't hold back her sobs. The tears kept coming and coming. She had never wept with joy like this in her life. So yeah, we'll see this again, and then there's a few things we've got to do. Oh, we got to do the 2-minute thing again. Can we... Is this fast forwardable? Guess we'll find out, right? Oh, it kind of is. Let me see. Maybe the time chart shows ending. Oh! Do we want to see it again? Let's see it again. Let's see it again. It can't hurt. I'd already built up like we were going to see it again, so... Gordon and Alfred sat in the back seat as the car sped along the highway. Here. Gordon tossed the handcuff key onto the seat beside him. What happened down at the Scramble? Alfred asked. Picked up the key and unlocking her cuffs. Leland Palmer was arrested by Japanese police. And the bomb in the Itachi case was defused, apparently. Still, Palmer shouldn't pose a problem once we get him into CIA custody. I see. Much obliged. You really got yourself back into a corner, though, didn't you? Gordon said. Yeah. I was only able to accomplish half of what I intended. Half? Alfred produced a vial from her pocket. It was filled with red liquid. Is that Hitomi's blood? Gordon asked. Indeed. I managed to acquire the antiviral, but when? Gordon peered at her in bewilderment. When I blew up the minivan, in the dim light of the vehicle, Alfred's eyes shone darkly like those of a wounded animal. Extracting the blood from Hitomi while she was unconscious had been a simple matter. Saving the girl's life had been more than just a means of ensuring a trust. Alfred had been looking for the right moment to carry out the extraction. Total secrecy was essential. If it became public knowledge that the drug existed and that some of it had been stolen, the value of the virus would plummet. Our primary objective here is to destroy that research facility. Still, getting our hands on the antiviral is better than nothing. Well done, as always, Alfred. Video time again. Let's go. I think it'll play the credits again, though. But it's fine. Again, probably really fun to shoot this. I just love how semi-low budget all kind of looks, especially during these like video sections and stuff. Kind of strange that the guys wouldn't stop, you know. Revenge. Boom, boom. Do we just assume they both die there? I mean, obviously we're not going to get the best, definitive answer, you know? But still. But still. Also, weirdly, I kind of wish we could have seen, like, actual full-blown live-action Kanan, what she looked like, just for like comparison's sake, because obviously now we see anime-ass Alfred, and like just seeing Kanan, like clearly they're obstructing her face because it's just like whatever, it doesn't really matter. Just a thought I had. Alright, so let me just make sure the ending shows ending, everything is squared away, and then, so what we gotta do for this mean, clean ending thing is to go into certain points of the story, yeah, okay, cool, and just hit certain new revealed, like, footnote tip things, I guess, apparently. I'm not exactly sure, but there's apparently, it's like new jumps are hidden throughout the story. So I've got a guide here, of course. Just will. Let's see. Alright, so it says, go to here, I assume. Okay, let's see. Achin and Tomi rush from the building, speeding towards you. I don't think I have to read this because we just have to get to where the thing is, so I'll just kind of press X through this. We'll get to see some scenes, but we have to see the van explode, so of course this game gets us we get to see the stupid van explode again. Our favorite scene. Yep. Yeah! Yeah! Still so good. There's a thunderous explosion. It's Kanan. Fake Kanan. fired. Huh? I don't know how this whole scenario, like, it shows itself or goes through. Like I said, the guy just kind of is like, here's where you got to do a thing, but it doesn't necessarily say how it's going to, like, present itself, so... Yeah. Oh, is this like a new scene? Because I don't remember her doing... Wait! Again, Kanan stopped him. What is it? I've been wondering something. Yeah? About your shirt. There's another face to the city. When you casually gaze at the sights, amidst all the normal everyday things, there are stories that nobody has told. Let this tale of one brave fellow, fighting in secret, now be a secret no longer. Fellow? Really? 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 What is this fucking story gonna be? This is gonna be a goof story, isn't it? Goof story. Labored breathing came from a shrub along the road where the minivan had exploded. This damage, it's way worse than I thought. The muttering voice was punctuated by further halting breaths, and the speaker had a name. That's it? Okay, there's one of the four. Maria's Path, 1600. I walk counter. Oh, scene of the explosion. That's exactly what we need. The explosion happened in Shibuya, Jinan 1 Combe, near the intersection of Koendori and Oregon Hill. A number of curious onlookers have flocked to the scene, but it turns out there are some other individuals there as well. Fuck is this thing? This is exactly how this game should end. In a goof parody story about Mean Queen. 4 p.m. What? What? What the heck? What's going on? Cried Big Joe, gazing up at the rising plume of black smoke. A crowd of emergency workers and curious onlookers milled about the scene of the explosion, but none noticed the empty can standing by the roadside. Hey, Flaps! Big Joe turned to the dumbstruck juice box sitting beside him. What do you think? I don't know. I mean, how am I supposed to know? Flaps gave a shrug. There is one thing I do know for sure. His expression turned grim. We've lost a lot of our friends. It wasn't just humans who had been caught up in the explosion. A bag of recyclables near the minivan had also been caught in the blast, and all the trash inside it had been burned to cinders. Like Flaps and Big Joe, the other trash had been waiting to be brought to the recycling plant to start a new life. Damn it. And right when we were all on the cusp of being reborn, Big Joe bit his lip in frustration. Cardbert, Alumamom, old Scraps, I won't forget you guys. Tears of coffee streamed from Big Joe's eyes. Big Joe, Flaps mumbled, take a look at this. Jiggly. There's a small green mask stuck to the surface of the road. Mask, not mask. What do you think it is? The thing was sticky and it gave off a foul stench. It pulsed rhythmically, as if it were alive. I'll tell you what it is, Big Joe said, his mouth twisting up. It's gross. The green mass wiggled and writhed for a while, but eventually went stiff, as if it had stopped breathing. And then it vanished with a slurp. Damn it. Why me? Why? A rustling came from the shrub near where Big Joe and Flaps were standing. That Archie-punk didn't even see me in here. The plastic bottle hopped into view, huffing and cursing. Hey, it's Mean Clean! The coffee can and juice box cried out as one. The heck is he doing here? It's like seeing a ghost, Big Joe. Dude, Big Joe said to the newcomer, they say that I retired ages ago. Mean Clean finished with a grimace. Yeah, that was the plan. Water burbled from a sizable hole in his midsection. Dude, look. Big Joe pointed to Mean Clean's belly. Yeah, so, went from big gulp to double gulp. Big deal. The sweat was beading on Mean Clean's forehead. Ah, good grief. Just look at me all messed up. Whatever moron's responsible for this, I'm gonna find him and kick his ass, Mean Clean grumbled. He stomped around with his bow-legged gait, glaring about him as he went. Whoa, he seems really pissed off. He did always have a short temper, Flap said, even back when he was the hero of Shibuya. Once, Mean Clean had indeed been the hero of Shibuya. It all started about 10 years before. A strange religious group had appeared on the streets preaching while brandishing vegetables in their hands. They seemed harmless enough at first, until their adherents started going on rampages, finally scattering vegetables all over town. The discarded vegetables quickly rotted, suffering the whole area with the stench of garbage. The Great Compost Incident, they called it. The police ramped up their supervision of Shibuya, but because unlawful dumping of garbage was only punishable with a modest fine under Japanese law, there was no way to rein in the believers' environmental terrorism. Day by day, Shibuya descended into filth. That was when a young Mean Clean stepped up. As a potential article of trash himself, he could not stand to see the city sullied so, and so he was determined to do whatever was needed to protect the town. Sending up a wild battle cry, he went about, accosting the vegetable tossers one by one, picking up their strewn garbage and disposing of it properly. This glorious struggle went on for 8 years. By the time it was done, Mean Clean was tattered and worn, a shadow of his former self. His friends, Big Joe and Flaps included, gathered around him as he prepared to meet his end. Hang in there, Mean Clean, cried Flaps. You can make it. Yeah, you can't die, dude. Their earnest pleas brought a faint smile to Mean Clean's face. With a weak voice, he whispered his last request. Throw me away in the bin for reusable waste. I want to be recycled when I go. Big Joe and his other friends did as he had asked. But the fact was that 90% of plastic bottles were burned without being recycled. Even when they did get recycled, many were made into other products, such as clothing, clear plastic filing folders, or vinyl rope. The odds of Mean Clean coming back as another plastic bottle were immeasurably low. After collection, Mean Clean was pulverized, processed, and born anew as a t-shirt. He was then passed on from person to person until he met Achi as a second-hand clothing shop. When Achi hit the streets of Shibuya, Mean Clean was saddened and dismayed. He had shown the vegetable cult the light, but still Shibuya was not beautiful. If anything, it was marred by even more trash than in the old days. It turned out that the religious sect was not his only enemy. Many of the people of Shibuya were themselves responsible for dirtying their once fair city. Shibuya was overwhelmed with trash. The city was rotting. But on his own, Mean Clean could do nothing. Each time he gazed out from Achi's t-shirt, he was awash with frustration at his own impotence. Bloop. Love it. Flap slapped an adhesive bandage across Mean Clean's abdomen. So, how'd you get your old form back? The juice box asked. Mean Clean rubbed at his midsection. It happened during the explosion. Oh my god, is it gonna say the whole thing? Many streams of this go in the series. Earlier in the series, I had pointed out and noticed the fact that the Mean Clean image picture was off Achi's shirt. I had pointed that out at some point. I was like, I just realized that, like, was this a continuity error type thing? It actually has a story bit that says that he jumped off the shirt or something from the explosion. The detonation had propelled a fragment of the minivan's windshield right towards Achi's chest. Making a split-second decision, Mean Clean slipped free of the t-shirt and took the glass shrapnel in Achi's place. Achi escaped injury without knowing what saved him, and left the scene and Mean Clean behind. Good. This is good. However you look at it, this wasn't just an accident. Someone must have planted a bomb or something. Mean Clean's face showed a mix of pain and anger. Half of his mineral water had spilled out. The water was effectively Mean Clean's blood. Having lost so much in one fell swoop, he was practically dead already. It was only sheer force of will that kept him on his feet. But the person who planted the bomb isn't the issue, Mean Clean continued. The one I'm after is whoever plotted to kill me and Achi. Flaps and Big Joe exchanged glances. Dude, is someone trying to kill you? What do you mean? Asked Flaps. Mean Clean's face grew grimmer. There was a second explosion. Someone was after us, no question about it. Neither Big Joe nor Flaps had any idea what Mean Clean was talking about. Had the shock of the explosion messed up their friend's head? But Mean Clean went on, his expression entirely serious. That shard of glass wasn't going for me and Achi, not at first. It was going one way, then its trajectory changed mid-flight and it came right at us. That couldn't have been caused by the initial explosion. Something else exploded just an instant later, somewhere off to the side. Big Joe listened intently, his expression vacant. He couldn't make any sense of it all. But that doesn't necessarily mean someone was gunning for you, Flap said. I mean, shouldn't it have just been a coincidence? No way, said Mean Clean. Not a chance. Who did it then? Asked Big Joe, and why? That I do not know. Flaps threw up his hands in defeat. Still, said Big Joe, now that you mention it, I did feel something back then. I'm sure of it. No, someone with murder on its mind. He peered around uneasily. What? Yeah, Just then someone came lurching by. It was an empty sake jar. Well, empty of sake anyhow. He'd since been planted with a bonsai. The others recognized him at once. The old fellow's name was Hooch. He was a slovenly drunkard, but also a walking encyclopedia of Shibuya, widely trusted by the trash of the city. Been drinking since noon again, old man? Big Joe rolled his eyes. Nah, lately I've been sticking to sweet potato sochu, Hooch informed him, his excuse completely failing to serve its intended purpose. It's done wonders for my bowels. His toothless guffaws reeked of booze. Look, this is no laughing matter. Someone's trying to kill Mean Clean and... Ugh, dude, you stink. Big Joe wrinkled his nose at a brand new stench. You just let one rip, didn't you, old man? My apologies. Like I said, wonders. As he chortled, Hooch let out another long and noisy olfactory assault. It's been a long time, old man, Mean Clean said. The smile disappeared from Hooch's face as his eyes slowly focused on the water bottle. Mean Clean? I thought you went into retirement. Yeah, I'd seen too much trouble. Why are you back then? To look for more. Hooch's expression stiffened. There's something you gotta hear, Mean Clean. Listen well. But Hooch didn't get a chance to finish. Damn, with a steamy hissing sound, a long, slender something came reaching down from above. It was a green tentacle. What in the what? The tendril wrapped itself around Hooch's body. Old man! Before Mean Clean could move in for the rescue, Hooch was lofted into the air. That looks just like that green thing we saw earlier, Flap shouted and pointed. Hooch was just, receding into the distance. There was nothing Mean Clean and the others could do. You will all die. You will become trash. You who circle back around, who bear the seal. The voice seemed to come out of nowhere, and it vanished just as quickly. Only the scent of the gas Hooch had passed lingered behind. What the heck? What was that? It had all happened so fast. Hooch had been snatched away before Mean Clean and the others could even react. You will all die. You will become trash. That's what the mysterious voice had said. Given the murderous vibes Big Joe had felt at the scene of the explosion, and the threatening voice, there was only one logical conclusion. There's no doubt about it, Mean Clean said. Someone out there is trying to kill me. No, trying to kill us. He stared fixedly up into the sky. Afraid that they'd be attacked by the green thing again, Mean Clean and his companions decided to relocate. They needed a place with good visibility, so they couldn't be taken unawares. Someplace open, with a view in all directions. Someplace like the roof of a building. Good. Good? Good? Good. Yeah. Alright, 2 more sections, I believe. Solace Path, 1640. I think we have to go a bit into the scene. Precious Honey or whatever the fucking name is. Pretty Honey. I was close with Precious Honey. Okay, I think it's somewhere near here. Mystery. Right? I'm pretty sure this is where it's... This is what it says. This is what this guide says. It says it should be here. Oh, I totally skipped a section. There's not 4 knobs to this story. There's 5, and I totally skipped a thing. This is my bad. Rookie mistake. Kano 1640. What a dope I am. South Hill. The building takes its name from a rough translation of Nampadai, the name of the area where it is located. The official name is South Hill Building, but since this is awkward to say, it's frequently shortened. Mean Queen. When Kano showed up here, Mean Queen and his pals were on the roof as well. It's funny that it's like half canonically, half non-canonically, it's like this Mean Queen scenario is happening amongst everything else that's going on in the story. It's very good. Very good. "15 minutes had passed since Hooch was carried off by the green thing. The trio had relocated to rooftop, where they continued to discuss their predicament. Detective Tatsuno, what is the meaning of this? Bring me Hitomi Asawa and I'll let this girl go. Why? What do you need Hitomi for? This isn't like you. It's so weird. Detective Tatsuno, who I know. Man, said Big Joe, this place sure is noisy. Not far away, 2 men wearing suits were having a big argument. I'm sorry, Laps. dipped his head in apology. I couldn't find any place else that was safe. Well, never mind, Big Joe said. Let's get back to the discussion. Right, Flaps replied. So what I don't understand is what that voice said. Don't you think it's strange that it told us we would become trash? Big Joe nodded. That is strange. I mean, we're already trash. Telling us we're going to be trash doesn't make sense. Exactly. I know why someone's after you though, dude, Big Joe told meekly. Think about it, you're the hero of Shibuya. Bad guys always go after folks who are on the side of justice. But Mean Clean remained silent, lost in thought. You who circle back around to bear the seal. He's talking about the recyclable seal. You who circle back around to bear the seal. What did that mean? Those phrases had to refer to them somehow. Big Joe, Flaps, Hooch, Mean Clean. What did the four of them have in common? Please stop this. Hurry up, bring it to me. Can't you at least tell me what's going on? Go now, or so help me, I'll shoot. The back and forth between the two humans seemed to be approaching some sort of climax. Damn it, these guys are so loud. I was just on the verge of a flash of insight. Mean Clean gritted his teeth as he glared at the men. What is this? I think I can ignore that. Hey, is that it? Big Joe cried out, pointing at an elliptical object in the sky. Is that the thing that attacked Hooch? Mean Clean and Flaps looked at where he was pointing. But right away they shook their heads and slumped their shoulders in disappointment. Nah, Flaps said. That's just a blimp. A blimp? A big flying advertisement, basically, Flaps explained proudly. They float through the skies, above the city, promoting things. Big Joe went red in the face. Huh, I knew that. Don't act all superior just because you know stuff. I wasn't acting superior. Shut up, you wimp. Wimp? Flaps exclaimed. You know, there's some things that's just not nice to say. What's with you? Acting all high and mighty, you're just paper. Pulp! I'm made of pulp, technically speaking. As the two argued, Mean Clean's mind wandered. You who bear the seal. It's the recycle thing there. On their asses. You bear the seal, you bear the seal. What in the world did it mean? He felt like he was overlooking something important. A mark, a seal. What did it mean? Ugh, huffed Big Joe. Don't try and act like you're anything more than a dumb kid. Hey, you know, Big Joe, it might do you some good to learn a little more about the world if you want to get by. The two were still at it, harder than ever now. Alright then, smarty pants, Big Joe pouted. How is that there blimp able to fly? Flash chuckled, a grin spreading across his face. Through the power of Ayakamiki. Allow me to explain. That blimp is filled with a large volume of gas, specifically a non-flammable gas called helium, a buoyant gas that makes up 0.005% of the Earth's atmosphere, used to provide lift in balloons, blimps, and dirigibles. Hydrogen gas is more buoyant, but helium is far safer because it's not flammable. Some have attributed the 1937 Hindenburg disaster to the fact that American-sourced helium was rejected in favor of the hydrogen gas used in the doomed craft. It's less dense than air, thus causing the blimp to float. Huh? I don't got a clue what you're saying. Basically, it's filled with gas that's lighter than air. What's all this gas stuff you're going on about? Are you telling me you don't know what gas is? Flaps blinked in disbelief. Helium. Ethylene, propane. A gaseous hydrocarbon composed of two carbon atoms joined by a double bond, used as a raw material for plastic, polyethylene, and the like. Lightweight and colorless, it gives off a sweet smell and is flammable. Propane is a colorless, flammable gas, heavier than air. One of the components in natural gas is also one product of the petroleum refining process. It's often mixed with propylene and butane and sold as LP, liquid petroleum gas. Those are all gases that exist here on Earth. They could be lighter than air or flammable, and they're used for all kinds of things. Big Joe appeared to be understanding less and less. His face twisted into a grimace. Okay, Flap said with mock patience. I'll make it easy for you. You know what farts are, right? Well, they're gas too. Methane gas, and a colorless, odorless gas used as fuel for consumer and municipal applications. In addition to being found in natural gas deposits underground, it's also a byproduct of metabolic fermentation by methane-producing microorganisms, livestock, and other sources. Widely recognized as a greenhouse gas contributing to global climate change, methane's increased presence in the Earth's atmosphere has been deemed a major problem by researchers. Well, why didn't you just say that in the first place? Methane is a colorless, transparent gas that's contained within farts, and it happens to be very flammable. So if it were to flick on a lighter close to one of Hooch's farts, Flap stopped abruptly with a sudden gasp of realization. Aha, yeah, that's it. What's it? What's what? Asked the coffee can. Mean Queen, Big Joe, I figured it out. Where's this coming from all of a sudden? Mean Queen asked, rather taken aback. He hadn't been listening to the conversation at all. Let's go back to the scene of the crime. I think I've solved the mystery of the second explosion. It was someone's fart? Is that what you're telling me here? Is that what this game with talking trash is going to try to convince me? Alright, I'm gonna get a drink of water real quick. Let me just do that. Let's get through this thing. Now 2 more sections to this Mean Queen story. I can't believe we're actually about to finish this whole game. It's about 60 hours of gameplay. So like I said, there's this Mean Queen thing, and then there's like 2 little, apparently some kind of conspiracy things. I'm not exactly sure what it means. But we gotta do it. We gotta see it all. Squeezed everything this game has to offer. Good to see the gross pictures again. Nearly 100%. Here we go. But never mind that. Right now, these guys have headed for the scene of the minivan bombing, trying to solve the mystery of the second explosion. Jump. The mystery of the second explosion had been solved. At Flaps' suggestion, the 3 friends had returned to the site of the minivan blast. Right, of course. Flaps scratched his chin, and nodded as he eyed the scene. Look, just explain what's going on here, Mean Queen demanded. And no big words, added Big Joe. Flaps was too obviously enjoying his little detective act. Take a look right here, if you would. Flaps pointed to the drainage ditch at the edge of the street. Big Joe peered into it. Ugh, that reeks. It smelled of rotten tobacco. What you're smelling is hydrogen sulfide, a gaseous compound formed of sulfur and hydrogen. It produces an unpleasant smell that irritates the mucous membranes of the eyes and nose. It's harmful to humans. Breathing in too much can kill you, and has been designated a specific offensive odor substance under Japanese law. Prolonged inhalation can damage the olfactory senses with the risk of permanent loss of smell. It's produced and released alongside methane by food waste. What about it? This place doesn't usually smell anywhere near as bad, Flaps explained, but for some reason today it's really foul. Which means, you're still following me, right? The others just stood there staring at him blankly. Right. Anyway, along with a large volume of hydrogen sulfide, there's also a large volume of methane gas rising up from this ditch. So, what happened, you see, is that flammable methane from here was ignited by flames from the minivan explosion, triggering a second explosion. The others just stood there staring at him even more blankly. Now, you've probably wondered how it is that I realized all this. Hold on a minute, Mean Queen grumbled. If what you say is true, then it was just a coincidence that piece of windshield glass came flying at Miyanachi? Yes, Flap said meekly. That's right. But I tell you, I could sense it. Someone was trying to kill me. If this was just a coincidence, how do you explain that? Yeah, Big Joe chimed in. See, that was bugging me about all this too. You can't just go around saying stuff like that, Flaps. No, but I mean, Flap's voice faltered. He didn't have a good answer for Mean Queen's question. For a while, the three of them stood in thought. Then Mean Queen broke the silence. So, this may sound ridiculous, but here's what I think, he began. We've got Flaps' deduction and those murderous vibes I felt. We need to think of a way to make those two things fit together, somehow. If the methane gas were capable of thought, it was an idea straight out of left field. Flaps and Big Joe were dumbstruck. So you figured it out? It was the voice they'd heard before. This time it sounded very close by indeed, and yet they could see nobody else. I was the one who controlled the blast to send that glass shard hurtling towards you, but here you are, still alive. Where are you? Mean Queen shouted. You who circle back around to bear the seal, you will become trash, the voice repeated its eerie mantra. Mean Queen, over here, Flap shouted, pointing at the drainage ditch. Crescent-shaped eyes peered out from beneath the sewer grating. A small green mass was lurking there, wreathed in its own foul stench, from the way it wriggled slimely about. There was no doubt about it. This was the thing that had snatched up Hooch in its tendril. Where's Hooch? Mean Queen demanded. That doddering old fool, he made a fine meal for my prime mass. Prime ass. A moment later, something launched toward them from the drainage ditch. Oh. It rolled to a stop on the pavement. Only then did they realize that it was Hooch, or what was left of him. Old man! What happened to you? Most of his jar was gone. The roots of the plant that had been potted within him now barely managed to cling to his face, holding it together. He was on death's door. Mean Queen stared daggers at the green thing. Why are you after me? No, after us! Do you ask yourself why you eat before each and every meal? The thing demanded, its tone dismissive. Eating what one wishes to eat is only natural. Those who circle back around, those who bear the seal, they are little more than a nuisance. As far as our plan is concerned. Plan? To cover this world in garbage, to consume more and more, producing ever more waste. We will forge a world where the words reduce, reuse, recycle are heard no more. Even you so-called reusables will be discarded. You will become trash in the truest sense. You will become one with us. Be thankful. The green thing snickered and flashed a set of jagged teeth. Resist all you like. You are doomed to fail. As long as rotten food waste exists, we will proliferate and grow. Ah! The green thing slowly began to emerge from the sewer drain. It's a boogar! My prime mass is steadily expanding, devouring the trash strewn about the city. Eventually we shall engulf all Shibuya, enveloping it in death and decay. Big Joe and Flap strode closer to Mean Queen. He spread his arms wide to shield them. Colorless blood dribbled from his hastily bandaged injury. Mwahaha! Rotten thing laughed. You think you can fight me in your condition? You can barely stand. The thing was right. Once he had lost all his water, Mean Queen would die. If he tried to fight this monstrosity now, he would never survive. You three will make a tasty snack. Time to die. And with that, the green thing rushed toward Mean Queen and his friends. Wah, 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 wah. Yeah! Flap shrieked. Suddenly, with a sound like a watermelon splitting, the green mass disintegrated into tiny bits. In the blink of an eye, the bits had all dispersed into the air. Whoa, Big Joe blurted. The heck just happened? His voice was trembling. He looked around in bewilderment. Juice. Juice, is that you? Mean Clean called out. On the rooftop of the building across the way, something glimmered in the afternoon light. They saw a body clad in a trench coat. Thick eyebrows jutted above a pair of sunglasses. Mean Clean knew the figure well. Long ago he had aided in the fight against the vegetable cult. Juice Malone. The legendary sniper. Juice's sunglasses flashed in the light once more. Then he whirled around and vanished from sight. Old man! Mean Clean and the others rushed over to Hooch's fallen form on the pavement. Hey, hang in there! Mean Clean, is that you? Hooch's voice was dry and raspy. I'm done for. Don't say that. It's alright. I know my body better than anyone. They gazed at him solemnly. It was remarkable that he had lived this long, given his grievous injuries. Mean Clean, there's something I need to tell you. Hooch struggled to get the words out. Mean Clean nodded. I've been wondering what you were going to say earlier. Hooch nodded weakly. No. Listen well. Mean Clean. You... Mean Clean held his breath. There's a hole in your stomach. Yeah? Which means there's a hole in your stomach. I know that. And? No, I just mean... What I'm trying to say is... You have a hole in your stomach. A long silence fell. Hooch quietly breathed his last. In the aftermath of Hooch's passing, Mean Clean and the others decided that they had to take action. If the prime mass of the green monstrosity was growing by eating trash around the city, they'd just have to gather up as much trash as possible. That should halt the thing's growth, reducing the threat posed to everyone. They would need a safe place to dispose of the trash once they collected it, but they didn't have time to think that far ahead right now. At the moment, they just needed to pick up as much trash as they could. Yoyogi, Harajuku, Abisu, Daikanyama, Shoto. Then, in the midst of their trash collecting expedition, Big Joe suddenly halted in his tracks. Dude, this place is a cafe, right? He cried out in excitement, staring at a nearby building. There's something I've always wanted to do at a cafe. What are you on about? Flaps let out a weary sigh. I don't think this is really the time. Oh, shut up, you. I was talking to my dude here. Big Joe turned to Mean Clean, his eyes pleading. Come on, dude, please? Just 5, no, just 3 minutes, that's all I need. Mean Clean shrugged. Knock yourself out. Once inside the cafe, Big Joe took a deep breath. He couldn't quite hide his nerves. He looked over at a waitress busily bustling about. Excuse me, 1 coffee, please. Big Joe grinned at the others. Man, I've always wanted to try coffee that wasn't from a can. The 3 waited patiently, but nobody brought Joe's coffee. They sure are taking their sweet time, Mean Clean grumbled. Yes, this has been taking far too long, Flap said. Maybe she didn't hear your order. He peered at the waitress dubiously. Guess you don't have much choice, said Mean Clean. You'll have to make do with that, Big Joe. Huh? Mean Clean pointed to a pair of coffee cups that had been set out on a nearby table. A middle-aged man in glasses sat there. He was scowling, probably in a nasty mood. The other seat was empty. It looked like whoever had been sitting there had stepped away for now. The man was engrossed with his laptop, so Big Joe seized the opportunity, hopping up on the table and bringing one of the cups to his lips. A bitter, dry taste filled his mouth. The flavor was nothing at all like that of canned coffee. He drained the cup in a single gulp and scampered back down the table. How was it? Mean Clean asked. Big Joe had a distant look in his eyes. So that's what real coffee tastes like, he said. Just then a woman returned to the empty seat, staring in consternation at her cup. Dad, did you drink my coffee? Huh? Of course not. Well then why is my cup empty? What? The middle-aged man looked stunned. Honestly, first you used my cell phone without asking, now you're drinking my coffee? What are you trying to pull, Dad? Hey, hold on. Yes, I used your phone, but I did not drink your coffee. As the two launched into an argument, Mean Clean and his friends hurried out of the cafe. Yeah! The trio split up in order to gather litter from all across Shibuya. Garbage was lying all over the place. There wasn't much need to search. Half-eaten slices of bread, half-drunk bottles of juice, banana peels, apple cores, cup noodles, hamburgers, ice cream, gum, candy wrappers, fried chicken, fish bones. Everywhere they looked, there was enough to fill a trash bag in the blink of an eye. There seemed to be no end to it. Increasingly disheartened, Mean Clean, Big Joe, and Flats continued their desperate mission. Mean Clean was steadily losing water. He couldn't let himself worry about that now. They had to stop the evil green thing. They had to do whatever it took to keep its prime mass from growing. And its prime mass. Deep in the very core of his being, Mean Clean knew this had to be true. Hooch was dead. Mean Clean was close to death himself, but something deeper than sadness or anger drove him forward. Back when he battled the vegetable cult, Mean Clean had what you could have called a sense of justice. But once the fighting was finished, the state of Shibuya had left him feeling empty. After that, there had been nothing but a dark hole in Mean Clean's heart. Now he firmly felt like he might be able to fill that hole. No, he had to fill it. He didn't want to ever feel the emptiness again. Center Guy, Spanish Hill, Fire Street, the Moyai statue, Hachiko, Mejidori, plenty of cigarette butts and spat out wads of gum lining the shoulder of the road. Ugh, this is just plain filthy. Mean Clean and the others continued their trash collection. Just one more. Just one more. Achi 1705. Achi told Stanley and Hitomi that what his father had done. As she listened, Hitomi hung her head. Her face was... Oh, I don't need to read this. I'm like all in reading mode here. See? Mean Clean off his shirt. It's great. Great, great. Wonder how the Mean Clean story is going to end. It's just crazy because this whole time I'm like, oh, I just wish the game would end, but like, I'm gonna be sad once there's nothing left of this game. Crazy to think. Been such a big part of the streams this past month or so. 2 months, maybe. Are you guys dating? Bum 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 ba-dum. Bum 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 bum. Here we go. Tossing cigarette butts onto the street could potentially hurt people and definitely makes a mess. Please don't litter. It'll just make Mean Queen angry. The last bit of this Mean Queen story. They had to gather up trash before the malevolent Prime Mask could get to it. Mean Queen made his way down the section of Medjidori that ran along Shibuya River, picking up garbage as he went. Plenty of cigarette butts and spat out wads of gum lined the shoulder of the road. First things first, I'm gonna punch him right in the face. Then we can have ourselves a chat. Mean Queen knew that voice well. It was Achi. The girl called Hitomi was by his side. They were with some tall foreigner in sunglasses. Don't let your emotions get out of control. Your father might be one of the key players in this case. The man with the sunglasses spoke with cool authority. Achi gave him a steely-eyed glare. The situation looked pretty tense. Mean Queen called out to Achi as he headed on his way. I'm not sure what's going on, but hang in there, buddy. You and me both. I'm here too. By now, a half hour had passed since the friends had started picking up trash. Oh, it's that Spyro music. Somehow, they managed to gather up all the trash around the city. Together, they amassed a veritable mountain of garbage bags. That's it. No more trash, Mean Queen said. He didn't look happy, though. Neither did Big Joe and Flaps. But that can't be, Flaps murmured. This is odd. Too odd. Big Joe clenched his hand into a fist. He was right. It was odd. They'd gathered a tremendous amount of trash, but still it was clearly not enough. There was simply no way that this could be all the trash in Shibuya. Mean Queen knew that painfully well from what he'd seen of the city with Achi every day. Were people becoming more mannerly and littering less than they used to? Had Achi's daily cleanup efforts actually borne fruit? An all too optimistic fantasy, but it was a nice thought. There was only one possible conclusion. They were too late. Everything they'd done had been in vain. Flaps was unable to hide his fear of the threat that this implied. All Big Joe could do was sigh. We're just gonna have to do it, Mean Queen said. Do it? Do what? Big Joe sounded almost too worried to ask. Isn't it obvious? We go, we find that Prime Mask thing, and we take it out. But that thing we met earlier said that it would just keep coming back. Doesn't even matter what we try and do. There's no point to it. Mean Queen smacked Big Joe upside the head. You dolt. You're going to give up before you even tried? But no buts. Besides, I don't see you're coming up with any better plan. Big Joe sulked and turned away. Plan or no plan, how are we supposed to fight an opponent that won't even show itself? Flaps asked. The juice box had a point. Mean Queen wasn't sure what to say to that. The enemy was in hiding, and they couldn't fight what they couldn't see. Mean Queen was getting more and more riled up, with no targets for his fury. Gah, such a waste of anger energy, he railed. There's no point to it now when there's nothing I can do with it. He stamped on the ground and huffed. And then the ground began to shake. The heap of trash bags began to collapse before their eyes. Several dozen green feelers thrust up from underground. Whoa, 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 whoa. The ground split open and the bag of trash vanished into the earth. Silence. The place where the trash had been lay empty, as if nothing had ever been there in the first place. The trio had no words. Then a booming thunderclap split the blue sky above them. A massive black shadow loomed overhead. Whoa, is that thing for real? Big Joe stared up at the sky in horror. Incredible. Metabon, the junk colony. The monstrosity drifted between the buildings. It was huge. Too huge. As they watched, it slurped up the green mass from underground, continuing to grow. There seemed to be no limit to its size. "I'll handle this dude," Big Joe told Mean Queen. He adopted a fighting stance. "Flaps, take him and get out of here." "No, I can't let you do this." "Thing may be big, but it's all soft and squishy. Don't worry, I'm made of metal." Big Joe leaped high into the air, launching himself at the monstrosity. The instant he impacted the mass, he was sucked right in. It was a metallic squirt as his body was crushed. "Big Joe!" Mean Queen and Flaps soared up into the air, weaving to avoid the monstrosity's extended tendrils. Now that they were on eye level with the thing, it seemed even bigger than before. This was not an opponent that they could fight by recklessly rushing in headlong. Ugh! Mean Queen sighed, screamed in agony. There's almost no water left inside of him. He had barely any strength to his arms, and his mind was foggy. At this rate, there's nothing he could do to stop himself from being devoured like Big Joe and Hooch. "Alright, let's light this thing up," Flaps cried. In his hands was a cigarette lighter, the flame already lit. "I picked this up while we were gathering trash," he said. "If this monster's made out of food scraps and methane gas, we get a flame near it, it should explode." Flaps was already charging toward the beast, the lighter held out in front of him. "Die, you son of a bitch!" "Flaps, don't do it!" Mean Queen hurried to stop him. "Don't get any closer to that thing." Flaps hesitated midair, looking back at Mean Queen with a frown. "But this is the only way. This thing already took down Hooch and Big Joe. And look at the condition you're in. What else can we possibly do?" "But this is exactly what it wants." Flaps' eyes went wide. "Huh? I finally understand what it meant. Eventually we shall engulf the entire city, enveloping it in death and decay. Remember that." Mean Queen looked down at the city below, at the houses and office buildings, at the passerby and vehicles coming and going. It wants to slurp up tons of trash, inflate itself to giant size, and then cause a massive explosion. Once that happens, the city will be a disaster. That's what it meant by enveloping everything in death and decay. "No. Trust me, put out that light. We can't risk blowing up the city." Flaps paused in thought for a few moments, then took his finger off the button on the lighter. With a sudden whoosh, one of the creature's long tendrils darted out and snatched him up. Mean Queen!" The juice box struggled to croak the words out. A moment later, he was absorbed into the slimy green tentacle. Ugh! Mean Queen clenched his teeth and rushed toward the monster. Rage filled him, his body moved of its own accord. He unleashed a flurry of punches and kicks. The creature easily batted them aside. He felt certain that if he tried to grab hold of the tendril, he'd immediately be engulfed within its squishy mass. The thing seemed to be toying with him as a cat toys with a mouse. Mean Queen retreated a short distance and squared off with the monstrosity once more. It was a hopeless fight. No matter how many times he attacked the thing, his strikes had no effect. The thing was going to kill him. It was only a matter of time. Wasn't there something, anything he could do? As he teetered on the brink of consciousness, Mean Queen's mind raced. The creature slowly stretched its tendrils toward him, heralding his end. A sudden gunshot split the air. The monstrosity froze in its tracks. "Juice!" On the roof of the building below, Mean Queen spotted Juice Malone, down on one knee, sniper rifle at the ready. Juice fired off 3 shots in rapid succession. All 3 struck the monstrosity right between the eyes, mere millimeters apart. Mean Queen felt a brief ray of hope, but it turned quickly to despair. The creature calmly brought a tendril up to its face and scratched itself between its oozing eyebrows. The bullets had been no more than mosquito bites to the thing. The monstrosity fixed its gaze on Juice, and its huge maw bent into an unnerving grin. It extended one of its finger tendrils and gave the end a sharp flick, sending the bulbous tip flying toward him. Then it quickly launched 3 more blobs, gleefully mimicking Juice's attack. Juice readied his weapon again and fired at the incoming projectiles, but the bullets vanished into the slime to no effect. Uh-oh. Juice! One of the green globules struck Juice dead on. A faint sound of shattering glass tinkled through the air. Not Juice Malone. Blah, blah, blah. The monstrosity chortled malviolently, then lashed out with its tendrils. Ah! A a direct hit. Mean Queen was sent hurtling into a gap between two buildings. A break or space between two things. We are born amidst gaps. Okay. We live our lives in them, and our lives fluctuate between them. Because of them. Gaps between ideals and reality. Gaps between good and evil. Gaps between hope and despair. Gaps between logic and instinct. Gaps between love and hate. Gaps between truth and lies. Gaps between the past and the future. Gaps between light and darkness. Gaps between order and chaos. Gaps between oneself and others. Gaps between dreams and reality. Gaps between life and death. Gaps between coincidence and the inevitable. Damn it! Matt, mustering the last of his strength, he launched himself back up into the air. Another tentacle strike was already coming his way. The creature had anticipated his return. Oh crap, Mean Queen thought, but it was too late to avoid the blow. Ah! Monster's mighty swat slammed him into the ground. The bandage on his belly came loose, and the remaining water inside him began to dribble out. Soon, he would lose the last of it. Oh no. Fighting breeds hatred, and hatred only breeds more fighting. I am not someone who's used to incurring the enmity of others. What are you doing, Sachio? Go! What's the matter? Come at me. Come on, hurry up and die already. As his mind grew ever more hazy, Mean Queen heard a series of strange voices. Lines of dialogue from Au Revoir, a performance by the theater troupe The Wandering Angels. Right now, the protagonist Ryu is facing off against multiple assassins in the initial sword fighting scene. Where am I? What is this place? Theater ace, located in Sakuragaoka. Assassin with an Edo accent #1, played by Yukio Tsuzuka, was supposed to be cut down by one stroke of Ryu's blade, but since said assassin continued to writhe about on the ground after he was struck, Ryu had no choice but to continue slashing away at him. The line, "Come on, hurry up and die already," was spoken by the actor who plays Ryu, complaining once he was backstage. A wave of chill mist wafted over him. Carbon dioxide from the dry ice machine set up backstage. The machine is broken and continues to produce and spit out more and more dry ice. What was he doing here? He couldn't die in a place like this. Go! Spurred on by the voices, Mean Queen got to his feet. Not yet. I'm not dying like this. I am not dying like this. Oh my god. The dry ice machine. Mean Queen wobbled his way back up into the air. He was battered from head to toe. The odds were overwhelmingly against him, yet a hint of a smile came to his face. I will do this. Just you wait and see. The wave of cold from earlier had caused clumps of whitish ice to solidify inside of him. Face me! Face me, he called out to the green monstrosity. I'm gonna kick your ass. The creature let out a roar and moved to attack. Foul tentacles lashed at Mean Queen from every side. He chose one of them and launched himself bodily toward it. Ah! The violent impact knocked him senseless, sent him sailing in the direction of Shibuya Station. The monstrosity hovered above the city, basking in the light of victory. Now no one was left to stop it from turning Shibuya into wasteland. It spotted some power lines and reached out a feeler toward them. It was ready to blow itself up. Shorting out the lines would send up a shower of sparks. It would only take one of the sparks for the creature to turn Shibuya into a blasted ruin. Slowly, the monstrosity extended its tendril. Its fingertips had mere centimeters further to go. Then the dirty waters of the Shibuya River were split in two, and something came rocketing up from within. This ain't over yet! It was Mean Queen. River water filled him to the brim, and he surged with vitality. He pointed sharply at the monstrosity. You didn't realize what I was doing, did you? I wanted you to knock me into the river. The creature glared at him balefully, pulled back the tendril that was reaching for the power lines and swung it like a whip at Mean Queen. Juice! Mean Queen shouted as he nimbly dodged the attack. Juice! If you're still alive, answer me! Almost at once, a gunshot rang out. Juice was down there on the rooftop below. Green ooze had consumed part of him. but he'd somehow managed to cling to life. Shoot! Mean Clean shouted, shoot me! Juice raised an uncomprehending eyebrow. Do it! Shoot me! It's the only way! Juice hesitated for a moment, then lined up Mean Clean in his crosshairs. Gah! The bullet punctured Mean Clean's body. More! Shoot me more! He strained and stiffened in order to keep the bullet locked in place inside him. Shoot! Shoot me, Juice! He winced with pain as several more bullets struck him in the belly and back. It took all of his might to keep them from blasting right through him. Alright. Preparations complete. Mean Clean lunged for the monstrosity. Blah! Monstrosity bellowed, its toothy maw yawning wide. Duh! Mean Clean sailed right into the thing's open mouth and was swallowed whole. A moment later, the monstrosity ruptured open with a stupendous sound. Its scattered remains dissolved into mist and vanished into the air. There hadn't been an explosion. Its insides had simply swollen and expanded until they couldn't be contained. Good. Big Joe and Flaps tumbled to the ground. Ow, ow, ow. Huh? Are we still alive? The two looked around in bewilderment, trying to process what had happened. Then Mean Clean clattered down beside them. Mean Clean! Big Joe and Flaps rushed to his side. Half of his body was gone. Cracks zigzagged across what was left of him. Flaps gently set a hand against Mean Clean's body. He's so cold. He's dying. Big Joe's mouth hung open aghast. Hey now. Don't go holding a funeral for me just yet. Mean Clean's voice was little more than a whisper. He couldn't even muster his usual triumphant grin. He had to struggle just to keep breathing. I kicked that thing's ass. Mean Clean looked up into the sky. Big Joe and Flaps followed his gaze. There was nothing there but the bright blue sky. The blue sky of a lovely spring day. That was amazing, Big Joe said between sobs. I knew you could do it, Mean Clean. But how? Flaps asked, wiping up the tears in his eyes. Dry ice. Dry ice? Yeah. I saw something on the news once about an accident caused by a plastic bottle bursting after it was filled with dry ice and water. Decided to put that to the practical use. Wow, I get it, Flap said. Now that you mention it, when dry ice sublimates, it expands to a volume over 700 times its solid size. Mean Clean, you could hold enough dry ice to expand to a volume of over 350 liters. Flaps nodded in understanding, still crying. And then, when you had Juice shoot you, you kept the compressed gas inside your body, then let the bullets blast out from inside you all at once. It's amazing, dude. But also way too reckless, said Big Joe. Yeah, I guess. Desperate measures for a desperate situation. Don't try this at home, kids. There was a distant look in Mean Clean's eyes. Big Joe, Flaps, please, toss me in the bin. Big Joe and Flaps exchanged glances. Reusable waste, said Flaps solemnly. You got it? Thanks. Big Joe picked up Mean Clean and walked over to the trash bin. So long, dude. I'll send you on your way. Wait! Mean Clean weakly held up a hand. You still haven't taken my cap off. Always take the cap off of a plastic bottle before throwing it away. Everyone knows that. But, dude. Both Big Joe and Flaps had already realized. If the cap were removed, the fine cracks running through Mean Clean's bottle body would break it apart completely. That cap was the only thing keeping their friend together. Don't be ridiculous. No matter how many times I die, I'll keep coming back. I'm not your run-of-the-mill plastic bottle. Mean Clean fixed Big Joe and Flaps with an earnest stare. As long as the city isn't clean, monsters like that one we fought will keep turning up. Until I return, you guys are going to have to make do somehow. Got it? We've got it, dude, Big Joe said. Then, gently, he unscrewed Mean Clean's cap. A moment passed, then Mean Clean's body burst into pieces. Shards of plastic glittered into the air like diamond dust. They were caught up by a gentle breeze, and Mean Clean was gone. Goodbye, dude. You were the cleanest. Orange-colored tears stained Flaps' cheeks. No. Big Joe's face hardened. This isn't goodbye. It's until we meet again. He clutched the bottle cap tightly in his hand. He squeezed it again and again, in the hope that his wishes might be heard. There they are. There they are. There's another face to the city when you casually gaze at the sights, amidst all the normal everyday things. There are stories that nobody has told. Now, some of them have been heard at last. Today has been a day for many stories, which I hope will live on in someone's heart. Until the day we meet again. Haichimaru. Oh, what's this? What's this? Behind the scenes stuff? This is so good. Oh, it's her. What a reveal. Ah, Minorikawa. I love behind the scenes stuff for this. This is so good. Great. Good. 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 This is...
You want me to be funny for the camera, do you now? I love to be funny for the camera.
That's Jack Stanley's voice. So interesting, you can hear like multiple clicks of the camera for those. Because obviously they're just going to go through and pick the best photos for each like scene. That's good. That's a good shot. Look at that.
朝晩とか今日は5時間分だね60日の生台風ラストカットになりました本当にラストカット本当ですかねまた呼び出されちゃった渋谷集合そういう疑いの目で
Man, this is too good. This game is too good. Ugh. Everyone should play this fucking game. See me again. Have you made another game? That's what I'm gonna look up after the stream. I'll be like, this whole thing, this whole product is just too fucking good. I gotta say though, that basically brings us to the end. I think that's, hopefully this doesn't crash here. That'd be yes, the golden bookmark. Good thanks game. Mean clean door added to bonus content. Mean clean door. I mean, this is pretty much, there's only just a little bit left, but that's really, what happens when I click this? What do you think is gonna happen? What the fuck? Walk past doors in the direction of the doorknob to open them. Then try to leap the trash monster inside before locking them in. How many monsters can you seal away in 5 minutes? Directional buttons and jump. You can move and jump at the same time to perform a diagonal run. Or diagonal jump. Mean Clean can climb up or down both ladders and stairs. He can't climb on nets, however. Once you've got all available monsters, the total number of monsters will increase by 1. Spawning more monsters like this is the trick to achieving a high score. Leaving a door partway open after a monster has entered will prevent other monsters from entering. You can line up multiple monsters where you want them and round them up all at once. Koichi Nakamura himself was able to capture 71 monsters in stage 4. Will increase by 1. What? What am I doing? Oh, I'm walking. Go down. Go down, friend. What am I doing? How do I... Oh, I don't touch him? What is it I'm doing here? What am I doing? I did not pay attention to the rules enough. Oh, I think I get him... inside and then close it on him? No, that definitely did not do shit. Huh? No, wrong thing. Then try to lead the trash monsters inside before locking them in. How many monsters can you seal away? I don't feel very smart. Okay, do I get behind him and then... No. That did not do shit. Do I need to just... What? Oh, shit. Why did he go in that one? Why did he... Does it have to go in the direction... Uh-oh. Go in. Look at that. Okay, now I finally get it, but still. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Come and get me, you losers. I don't think they can only climb the, that thing, I guess. I don't know why it took me that long to figure out how the fuck to play this. Oh shit, he came out! That's not fair. Okay, that's cute. That's adorable. Luckily there's no trophies tied to doing that game. So yeah, as I was basically saying, that's pretty much almost all that this game has to offer, surprisingly. I mean, not surprisingly, like, we did a lot. We did quite a bit of the game here. There is just a couple more things to do, though, real quick, before we completely part ways with the game. And that is what they're calling conspiracy endings. Let me read this before we go in, because apparently you can fuck it up somehow. So it'll be here. Go into here. Okay. Apparently it's some weird shit. Okay, let's go. Oh. It's whispering to me.
中村です。もし聞き取りにくかったら電波のいい場所に移動して。聞こえますか？急いでコントローラーをグリグリしてください。
I'm trying.
グリグリグリグリ。
Am I doing it right? Fuck. I don't think I did it right. Some dude whispering in my ear. Oh no. I think I might have to retry. Okay, try it again. I think I maybe went too fast or something. I don't know.
もしもし、誰か聞いてますか？私です。中村です。もし聞き取りにくかったら電波のいい場所に移動して。聞こえますか？急いでコントローラーをグリグリしてください。グリグリグリグリ。
I'm trying. We had gotten it for a bit. Come on, game. Give it to me. Again, it's the game doing everything within its power to not let me finish it.
誰か聞いてますか？私です。中村です。もし聞き取りにくかったら電波のいい場所に移動して。聞こえますか？急いでコントローラーをグリグリしてください。グリグリグリグリ。
Do I just keep going? Should I have stopped when it started doing the screen thing? Maybe? Because I'm... The funny thing is that the guide is like, it's really finicky apparently. Alright, again, we try. I'll try to when it does the shaking thing. Oh, I wasn't supposed to... Fuck. Advance the dialogue. When it gets to the... When it does the thing, I'll try to, like, hold the position. And if I don't get it here... No! Fuck! Bad. Bad. I'll look up another guide thing and try to see if I can get better explanation of how to do it.
村です。もし聞き取りにくかったら電波のいい場所に移動して。聞こえますか？急いでコントローラーをグリグリしてください。グリグリグリグリ。
I'm just holding it in a position here. Now I'm spinning again. It's not. It's not. Back out. Let me see. Da da da. Let me try this thing. Oh yeah, I guess I just gotta keep trying. Just keep trying like the fool that I am. Apparently just start doing it right when he talks. Apparently I'm not going fast enough then.
誰か聞いてますか？私です。中村です。もし聞き取りにくかったら電波のいい場所に移動して。
I'm going so hard right now.
急いでコントローラーをグリグリしてください。グリグリグリグリ。
Oh, I'm going round and
もしも
round.
しもしもし。
Here we
急い
go.
でコントローラーをグリグリしてください。グリグリグリグリ。よし。じゃあ今から送
Sending
信します。
message. Here we go. We got it. I got it. I did it. Alright, just a little bit more reading, maybe? You'll have to forgive me. This is the only way I can keep them from watching. They are wearying me. It's not as easy as it used to be to sneak a message into a game. That's why I've used this transmission program, so slow, to send my message to you. Surely they won't notice this. Yeah, surely. My name is Koichi Nakamura, chairman of Spike Chunsoft. I've given publicity interviews for our new game, so perhaps you are familiar with my face. But the Koichi Nakamura that you have seen is not actually me. He is one of them, a skillful impersonator who has taken my place, much like Alfred. Yet it seems that my captors are fickle masters. My only form of entertainment in this room is the TV. And just the other day, I saw my other self on the screen, and he looked subtly different than the one I've seen before. The original Koichi Nakamura, who replaced me, seems to have been nothing more than a disposable pawn to them as well. I've been locked up this tiny room for a long time. Telling the world about my captivity seemed impossible, and I had long since given up. But now, a chance has suddenly come my way. The other day, the fake me came to my prison room with a request. He told me to remake my old game, Door, so that a version could be included in this game. He told me that I had 1 hour. I tried to tell him that this was impossible, but he wouldn't listen. He just said, "I'll be back in 1 hour," and departed. I'm sure he intended to torture me mercilessly if I didn't meet my deadline. I had no choice. I had to do it. I dragged a dusty PC from the corner of the room and started coding as hard as I could. A half hour later, I had managed to finish. I gave the code a test play. I hadn't managed to reproduce all the fine details, but it worked, so that was good. Still, not having played Door in so long, I'd forgotten how difficult it could be. I spent about 20 minutes struggling with it. And then I got an idea. I could hide my message in the code of this program. If all I did was hide it, though, they were certain to find it. In order to keep them from spotting it, I decided to include this transmission program. This should protect my secret. Just now, I received a signal from your gaming device. From my gaming device. I'm writing this message in reply. Quite frankly, I didn't expect to succeed, but I did. My fingertips are trembling with anticipation. These transmissions are my only means of contacting the outside world. I must help this man. I'm begging you, please, if you can, keep this game close at hand at all times. And every so often, boot the game up and check to make sure my messages are still live. A day will come when I am able to reveal their plan. But until that day comes, please don't let this game out of your possession. You have my deepest thanks for playing, Koichi Nakamura. Oh, I should probably hit C to correct whatever timeline, I guess. Okay, so that's the conspiracy thing. And now there's a true conspiracy scenario. Achi at 7:05. Okay, so it says go to side of the road, where we kind of did with the mean queen thing. I believe I'm supposed to jump. It says then use that to skip to the last page and then scroll back up until the X reread option lights up. Okay. Until the reread pops up, it says. Boop, 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 boop. Yes. Okay. Okay, so it's autoplaying. So it says, from there you can press that. Oh, the speed. Okay, so I can set the speeds here. At the very end, there will be a different final message with some directional words in all caps. I'll back out of the auto-scrolling once we get close to the final end. But then there's, like I said, one last true conspiracy message to us. Probably very similar or something to the first one we just got. This fucking game, man. I'll just scroll myself here, don't want to miss something. Wait, you gotta take the cap off me. That's how you recycle shit. Goodbye, dude. You were the cleanest. I love this shot. And all is right with the city at last. For now, there are no more tales left to tell the people of Shibuya. They're crossing paths and intertwining. Whoop. There we go. Yeah, it gave directions and shit to press. It's giving us a different message than the last ending we had seen, obviously. Alright, true conspiracy. I've slipped out of the room where they keep me. I'm currently typing on the keyboard at a programmer's desk. I think he'll be back soon, so I need to be brief. This may sound like it's all nonsense, but please, bear with me. I believe that he has included a message in this game, passing it off as the truth. A message in which he claims to be the victim. This message can only be viewed upon after you played the game over and over. Upon reading it and feeling a sense of accomplishment that comes with it, you may be inclined to simply believe what it says. But it is all lies. It is a cunning trap set by Koichi Nakamura to deceive you. Do not be fooled! I got wind of his plan a long while back. It was summer, several years ago. He had hidden a message in a game he developed back at the time. Later, while drinking with a friend who plays games, the subject of the secret message came up. My friend had played the game and had seen the message, but he said there was no phone number included. The message I saw, however, definitely included a phone number. I thought it was strange, but I was curious enough to give it a call. A man answered. He spoke in a low, hushed voice. Mr. Katajima, he said, could you please come here right away, he asked. I headed for the designated location, which is in the Shibuya ward of Tokyo. Then, as I stood alone in the darkness of a side street, I was grabbed from behind, blindfolded and abducted. I was struck on the back of the head with a blunt instrument and immediately lost consciousness. When I woke up, I was in a tiny room with no windows. 2 other people were there. Takamura Abiko and Kinoko Nasu, writers for the game. They had both been kidnapped the same way, locked up and forced to write game scenarios. Nasu had been brought in relatively recently, but it sounded like Abiko had been locked in there for over a decade. Right now, the people operating as myself, Abiko, and Nasu are not the real us, but fakes employed by Nakamura. The details of my imprisonment naturally began to slip into my writing. I'll cut to the chase here. It was late at night, and I had come close to finishing up writing the scenario for this game. I could hear voices coming from the room next to mine, the voices of Nakamura and his underlings. I couldn't believe what I heard. They said they had programmed the game to emit some kind of electromagnetic waves. I couldn't really hear that well from the game screen, which would let them know who had purchased it. If the game console connected to the internet, things got even more sinister. It would send a signal to them online, giving them the user's name and address. I couldn't make out all the finer details, but their conversation was peppered with words like abduction, brainwashing, and submission, so it's clear they had some kind of nefarious plan in the works. That's why I decided to leave this message here, to warn you that you're at risk. The danger is getting even nearer. I'm scared. It wasn't easy including this message in a way that they won't find it. If they do discover it, they will surely kill me. By the time you read this, I may already have left the world of the living. But when I think of you, an innocent gaming enthusiast just looking to play a great game, I cannot stand idly by and do nothing. It's been a month or more since you purchased this game, then they almost certainly know who you are. It's only a matter of time before they show up at your home. Maybe it's already too late. They might already be right there, keeping an eye on you as they wait for the right moment to strike. Has anyone moved into your neighborhood lately? Did the clerk at the nearby convenience store get replaced by someone else? If you live with parents or siblings, take a good, close look at their faces. It's not inconceivable that they've been swapped out with convincing fakes. You don't feel like there's someone watching you over your shoulder right now, do you? Wait, if you do sense a watcher, don't just turn around. If you do, they will notice, and you'll become their prey on the spot. Just act like you're enjoying the game and haven't noticed anything unusual. Maybe you don't believe me, but this is all true. The conspiracy is getting bigger. It's spread throughout Japan, throughout the rest of the world. Now it's on your very doorstep. This is not the first time I've included a message like this in a game. Last time I did so, several brave people took action. Perhaps that's the reason why Koichi Nakamura grows more restless every day. Just a little more. We need just a little more patience. At long last, we have a chance to stop their secret plan. Try to hold out if you can. Don't get caught up in their conspiracy. Don't be deceived by their schemes. The day of our victory approaches. Prismatic bookmark. And I think the plot to the game. That's it. That was the last thing this game had. I've squeezed every drip of blood from the stone of this game. Yep. There we go. Just under 60 hours. I fucking love this game. This may not end up being my favorite game of this year that I played, but definitely from what I expected to my favorite game that I probably will stream this year, this is easily it. Wow. I cannot believe I thought it was going to be a light little visual novel that wasn't going to be that long, and instead I got a good story, a good original story, multiple endings, great characters, great writing, weird scenarios, little extra stuff. I could go on and on about how great this game was and how fun it was to stream this. I hope that it was fun to watch as a stream and as a series on the archive, if that's how you chose to do it. But yeah, this will probably go down as maybe my favorite game that I've played on stream, as like a game that I streamed on the channel. So far, it takes that title and probably will hold it for a long ass time, because this surpassed everything I felt I was going to get with this game. Definitely hilarious as a stream that like kept thinking you were going to reach the end of it, and then it just kept going hours and hours. That was a great stream joke, basically. But yeah, great characters. I loved every little bit of it, basically. I loved the little behind the scenes thing we got just a little bit ago. The Mean Queen scenario is just like a goof story. This is good. And it's a little sad that it's over. I'm glad I finished it, and I'm glad I did everything, and I stuck with it, read everything, did it all, and experienced everything this game had to give. I'm just sad that it's over. There's no more left of it. And, yeah, I'll definitely... will constantly look back at this series in great admiration. I love it. I love it. I love it. But that'll do it for the series. Definitely, let's see, I started streaming today at like a little after 9, I think. Did the whole Kanan thing. Game crashed. It's now just now 3, so basically 6 hours then today to just finish the rest of it. So this game would just constantly kept giving more, kept taking my time, and I didn't totally mind it. Stream most likely later tonight, a bit of Last of Us Part 2 for sure. It might be like later tonight, but we'll see. Possibly change. And then I'd say Sunday, probably Last of Us Part 2 as well at some point, at least once throughout the day. I've got to part for a bit. I need to eat. I'm hungry as shit. I'm unshowered because, like I said, I rolled out of bed and just started the Kanan scenario. I'm going to work on... Yeah, I need to eat. I need to shower. I need to clean the apartment a bit. And I'll work on getting caught back up on some archives. I think I just got the first part of the Last of Us series up. So that means I've got 2 more Last of Us things. And then I think technically 3. It'll be 3 now parts to this game. Since it was last night's part, this morning's part, and then the game crashed, and then this part, these 2 hours. So, yeah. If you enjoyed watching it, live, archived, whatever, send it to a friend. Be like, hey, this lame kid, call myself a kid. This lame guy played this fantastic game and it was quite enjoyable. It's 58 hours basically of hilarity, touching. This game is partly touching, great recycling message. And then tell them, hey, you could follow the archive at youtube.com/thebubmanXIV. That's the YouTube where streams go. More importantly, tell them follow Twitch. That would be greatly appreciated. Twitch.tv/bubmanXIV. Twitter at bubmanXIV as well. All the stuff. And until tonight, and with The Last of Us, see you later. Enjoy your Saturday. It'll be over before you know it.